Bradford, England, by defeating American ace Sean Moran in a run-off, after they'd each scored 13 points. Jonson has won 3 Swedish championships in 1986, 87 and 88. He won the 1988 Champions Cup and won the 1985 World Under-21 Championship. He's ridden in 3 world finals, in 1987 in Amsterdam, Holland, scoring 22 points, in 88 at Vojens, Denmark, scoring 9 points, and last year in Bradford, where he won the title with 13 points after that run-off. Last year, Per returned to the Sunbright League after a year's absence, when he stayed home in Sweden to experience the joys of fatherhood, to become a vital member of the Reading 4X races, which completed the double by winning the Sunbright British League competition and the Knockout Cup. Sweden 1, Per Jonson. Sweden 2 is Connie Iversen. Connie, 21, rides for the Swedish League team Vetlanda and the Danish team Sabi, and has also ridden for the British League team Swindon. He was a surprise qualifier for the 1988 Vojens, Denmark, finishing 9th with 7 points in his world final debut. In 1988, Connie finished 9th in the Swedish title with 9 points, and was also a member of Sweden's 5-man squad for the World Team Cup final in Los Angeles. Sweden 2, Connie Iversen. Sweden 3, Jimmy Nilsson. Jimmy, 24, rides for the British League team Swindon, the Swedish League team Stockholm United, and Seinäjoki in Finland. One of Sweden's leading riders, he's ridden in 3 world finals. In 1986 at Katowice, Poland, scoring 11 points for 4th place. In 1987 in Amsterdam, Holland, with 22 points for equal 4th. And in 1990 at Bradford, England, with 10 points for 5th. In 1989, Jimmy teamed up with Per Jonson to finish 2nd in the World Best Pairs Championship, and in 1990 the same pair finished 4th in the World Best Pairs at Landshut, West Germany. In his last appearance at North Arm Speedway, Jimmy won the inaugural Jack Young Memorial Cup 6-lap final. Sweden 3, Jimmy Nilsson. Sweden 4 is Tony Rickardsson. Tony, who rides for the Swedish League team Stockholm United, surprised the critics and so-called experts by winning the 1990 Swedish Championship with a perfect 15 points maximum. He finished 3rd in the 1990 World Under-21 final at Lvov, Russia, with 10 points, defeating Poland's Jaroslav Simikovic, I'll get that right in a minute, Simikovic, in a run-off to claim a place on the rostrum. Well, that was near enough anyway. Sweden 4, Tony Rickardsson. Sweden 5 is Henrik Gustafsson. Henrik, 20, rides for the British League team Kings Lynn, the Swedish League team Indiana, and the German team Landshut, and also for Holstebro in Denmark. He's been described as the hottest property in World Speedway by the English press. Henrik made his English debut in 1990 for the Kings Lynn team. He scored a creditable 9 points in his world final debut last year at the Odsal Stadium in Bradford to finish 6th. In 1988, he finished 2nd behind fellow Swede Peter Nalen in the World Under-21 Championship, and in 1989, he won the Swedish Under-21 title. Sweden 5, Henrik Gustafsson. Sweden 6, Erik Stenlund. Erik rides for the Swedish League team Rospagiana and has also ridden for English clubs Poole and Swindon. He won the 1984 and 1988 World Ice Racing Championships and rode in the 1989 and 1990 World Long Track Finals, finishing 4th in 1989. This multi-talented rider won the 1985 Swedish Championship, and in 1988 he won the Champions Cup. Sweden 6, Erik Stenlund. Sweden 7, Peter Nalen. Peter rides for the British League team Swindon and Swedish League team Smederna. He won the 1988 World Under-21 Championship at Slany, Czechoslovakia, with a score of 14 points. He's a member of the coastal Swindon Robins British League team with fellow Swede Jimmy Nilsson and Australian star Lee Adams. The reserve for the visitors tonight, Sweden 7, Peter Nalin. And now for the Australian team. Australia 1, Todd Wiltshire. Todd, 22, from Bankstown, New South Wales, rides for British League team Reading. He made a sensational debut in the 1990 World Championship in Bradford, England, finishing third with 12 points, only 1 point away from forcing a three-way runoff with Swede Per Jonson and American Sean Moran. Todd and Mildura teammate Lee Adams finished second in the 1990 World Pairs Championship in West Germany. In 1990, Todd moved up to British League team Reading and helped the Reading 4X racers complete the double by winning the Sunbike League competition and the Knockout Cup. Australia 1, Todd Wiltshire. Australia 2, Lee Adams. Lee, 19, from Mildura, rides for the British League team Swindon. He won his third successive Victorian title at Mildura's Olympic Park Speedway on December 23 with a perfect 15-point maximum and broke the 1 and 4 lap records. He's won 2 Australian under-21 championships in 1988 and 89. In 1990, Lee moved up to the British League to ride with the coastal Swindon Robins and enjoyed great success. The greatest moment of the 1990 season for Lee would have been finishing second with Todd Wiltshire in the World Pairs Championship in West Germany. Australia 2, Lee Adams. Australia 3, Phil Crump, the captain of the Australian team. Phil, 38, is the most experienced rider in the team, having represented his country with great success both in Australia and overseas. Crumpy started his speedway career in 1970 and has since won 4 Australian individual titles in 1975, 79, 84 and 88, and 14 Victorian titles. He's made it to 3 World Championship finals, in 1975 at Wembley, England, scoring 10 points, 1976 at Towers, Poland for 12 points for a third, and in 1984 at Los Angeles, USA for 4 points. He was a member of the 1976 World Team Cup winning side and finished second with South Australia's John Bolger in the 1975 World Best Pairs. In 1990, Phil returned to England to ride for British League team Swindon, and on December 23, Phil finished third in the 1990 Victorian title with 11 points. On the track now is Australia 4, Glenn Doyle. Glenn, 25, of Western Australia, rides for British League team Bradford and is the reigning Australian champion. He's won the last 2 Australian titles at Newcastle in 1989 and again in 1990 at the Brisbane Exhibition Ground, where he defeated Victorian Lee Adams in a runoff. Glenn has won the last 3 Western Australian titles and has ridden in the last 2 Commonwealth finals in England. In 1989 at Coventry, he failed to score a point, and in 1990 at Bellevue, he scored 3 points. Australia 4, Glenn Doyle. And with the scratching of Craig Boyce, we have Australia 5, Shane Bowes. Shane, 21, of South Australia, rides for the English National League team Glasgow. Shane has been in scintillating form here at North Arm this season, breaking the 4 and 6 lap records in a brilliant 5 wins from 5 starts performance at the second meeting of the season. He was captain of the South Australian international team, which defeated the touring Russian side on December 28 by 16 points, 53 to 37. And Shane topped the team score with 13 points. Australia 5, Shane Bowes. Australia 6, Stephen Davies. Stephen, 25, from New South Wales, rode for British League team Kings Lynn in 1990. He's won 3 New South Wales championships. In 1989, he had a successful time in England, riding in the Commonwealth Overseas Finals, as well as representing Australia in the World Pairs Championship qualifying rounds with Queensland's Troy Butler. He was also a member of the Australian World Team Cup side. Australia 6, Stephen Davies. Australia 7, Scott Norman. Scott, 20 years old, rides for National League Team Peterborough. And although a reserve tonight, what a reserve to have. Scott is a former South Australian under-21 champion and finished fourth in last Sunday night's Australian under-21 championship at Mildura's Olympic Park Speedway, defeating New South Wales youngster David Hammett in a runoff to claim the spot on the rostrum. Australia 7, Scott Norman. Ladies and gentlemen, we ask you to do our visitors the favour of standing for the Swedish national anthem and then to remain standing for the Australian national anthem. Ladies and gentlemen, firstly, the Swedish national anthem. And the Australian national anthem. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and thank you for your warm welcome to our Swedish visitors and, of course, to the Australian Test team. Now, just before we get underway, we've got a couple of messages. First of all, to the owner or driver of a white Commodore registered UWE 543, that's UWE 543, a white Commodore, all the windows have been left down on that car. That's UBH795, UBH795, a Ford. We do need that car moved immediately, please. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, a chance for you to again show your applause to, or demonstrate your applause to the visitors and the Australian teams as they do a couple of slow laps and a few clutch starts around the track. Right, we've just been told that Australia has won the toss and will be starting at positions 1 and 3 in the first heat. Australia has won the toss and will be starting positions 1 and 3 in the first heat. think we said the Australians won the toss, and in the first race would be starting from 1 and 3. So we've got Australia 1, Todd Wiltshire in red, in the red-coloured helmet, not yet out on the track. Australia 2, Lee Adams is starting in blue. He's up there in the distinctive red leathers with the kangaroo on the chest. Sweden 1, Per Jonson in the white helmet, obviously going to start for position 1. And Sweden 2, Connie Iverson in the yellow and black helmet is down here on the line ready to go. Okay, just waiting on the riders to come in and sorting out the starting positions. Unfortunately, we don't have them for you. We thought that Connie Iverson would be starting in 1. Yes, the white helmeted Per Jonson starting in 1. We're just getting them sorted out now. Sam, what do you reckon the problem is down there?
Well, I think they threw the coin right after the parade, and I think Australia got 1 and 3. That's what I was told, so the Swedish riders thought they actually were supposed to come off 1 and 3. Terry, I was informed that they ran out of programs pretty early in the night, and I believe there's a lot of you out there that don't have a program. We'll try and fill you in on where these guys are actually doing race per race. But at the moment, it looks like Per Jonson has got gate 1, so the Swedes are off 1 and 3, and the Australians are off 2 and 4.
Yeah, well, I was told the same as you were about the toss of the coin. So either our informant was wrong, or they've decided to change around anyway, or else the Australians have conceded 1 and 3 for the first races. But anyway, such is the case. They're moving in. So in the white helmet we have Per Jonson, Sweden 1. In the red helmet we have Todd Wiltshire, Australia 1. In the yellow and black helmet we have Sweden 2, Connie Iverson. And in the blue helmet on the outside, Australia 2, Lee Adams. Ready for a start. The red helmeted Todd Wiltshire seemed to get a good start, but it's Sweden 1 in the lead, with Per Jonson in the lead. Here comes the red helmeted Todd Wiltshire looking for a run through on the inside. Todd Wiltshire and Per Jonson right through. Todd Wiltshire, Per Jonson, a great battle between Lee Adams and Connie Iverson at the back. Iverson getting the better of Lee Adams, settles down in the third place. But in the lead it's Todd Wiltshire who's leading the white helmeted Per Jonson. Wiltshire comes around, still in the lead. Johnson's down on the third place, it's Connie Iverson and Lee Adams sticking right with Iverson. So now this time a change as Per Jonson goes into the lead. Johnson into the lead and scorching away now from Todd Wiltshire. Todd Wiltshire's got problems. He's playing with the throttle and he's just going nowhere fast. That's the reason why Per Jonson has got in front. Per Jonson coming around, half a lap to go. We'll take this one out. Sweden 1 will finish first. And Sweden 2, Connie Iverson second over the line, and Lee Adams third, and Todd Wiltshire in for fourth. Well, that was a disastrous blow for the Australians, with Todd Wiltshire obviously having engine problems there.
Well, there you go, ladies and gentlemen. You got to put your hands together for these guys. Swedish came through there. They're up there going for it. And unfortunate for Todd Wiltshire, number 3 in the world, having his disappointing, being in front, making a great pass into turn 3 of the first lap, and then coming back. The time on that was 1 minute, .94. These guys, that's a good time around here, and unfortunate for the Australians, and the Swedish guys pulled out some points.
Yeah, certainly is. And any idea from looking down here what that problem might be with Todd Wiltshire's bike?
Well, it looked like to me he was pumping the throttle as he was going through the turn. Maybe he had a fuel problem.
Sweden 3, Jimmy Nilsson, just coming onto the track, as you can see, has the white helmet cover. And Sweden 4, Tony Rickardson, will make up the 4. Here he comes now. It's supposed to be a yellow helmet cover. That's black and green to me.
Phil Crump's coming out in red on that one.
Yep, there he is, Australia 3. As we said, one of the most experienced riders probably in the world, let alone Australia, at 30, what did we say before? He was 38 years old, I think we said. And, gee, that's what you call a ripe age as far as speedway riders are concerned. As a matter of fact, last year or a couple of years ago, Crump and Adams from Mildura were referred to as the master and his apprentice. Well, I think the apprentice is probably up with and probably slightly better than the master at the moment, but you can't take it away from Crumpy, as he's affectionately known. Crumpy in red starting from 3, and Glenn Doyle, a Western Australian champion, blue from 1, and that'll give the Australians a bit better advantage. Of course, Sweden at the moment leading 5 points to 1 after Todd Wiltshire had that fourth place after his injury failed. They're on the line, they're ready to go. Outside by Tony Rickardson, but moving into the lead is Glenn Doyle. Doyle's in the lead, Crump's with him, and Australia's running 1 and 2, but look out, here comes Tony Rickardson underneath Crump up into second place, and Glenn Doyle will have to watch himself. Tony Rickardson and Phil Crump now having a great battle with Sweden 3, Jimmy Nilsson at the back of the field. Crump and Nilsson absolutely locked together as they go down the back straight. Crump gets clear, crosses it up, loses ground, and Rickardson up into third place. Meanwhile, out in front, it's Glenn Doyle who's leading, but Tony Rickardson is getting ever closer. They've got 1.5, 1.25 laps to go, and Doyle is absolutely flying. Rickardson trying to hang on to him. Jimmy Nilsson and Phil Crump back in 4th place. Half a lap to go. Can the Australians get their first win tonight through Glenn Doyle, the Western Australia champ? It certainly looks like it. Glenn Doyle comes around to take the checkered flag and miles over the start finishing line. What a beauty, Glenn Doyle. He's in for first. Sweden for Tony Rickardson in for second. And third goes to Sweden 3, Jimmy Nilsson and Phil Crump in for fourth.
Put your hands together for your national champion, Glenn Doyle, as he goes around. Phil Crump was in there in the first lap, but he made a mistake and got pushed out. Tony Rickardson did a good job coming through and holding those points for the Swedish riders. Glenn Doyle, your winner of that race.
And the time for that event?
The time of that event was faster than the first race. That's 59.55.
Well, 59.55 is a pretty slick time around the North Arm Speedway track, and just outside the record of 59.41. We've been told there's some people on the change room roof, but I'll tell you what, I reckon I'd get down from there pretty quick and pretty carefully if I were you. It's only asbestos, and you could go through it and cause yourself a great injury. So those people who are on the change room roof, please get down quickly and get down gingerly, or you might get down faster than you anticipate. Okay, we've got Australia 5, Shane Bowes in red. We've got Australia 6, Stephen Davies in blue. Sweden 5, Henrik Gustafsson in white. And Sweden 6, Eric Stenlund in yellow. The blue helmeted Stephen Davies up to the line already, number 6 coming in the yellow. Sweden 6, Eric Stenlund, he's starting from 3. The red helmeted Shane Bowes looks like he's starting from, not too sure, it's 1 or 2. Well, it'll have to be 2 because the Australian blue helmeted Stephen Davies is starting from 4. So that'll put Sweden 5, Henrik Gustafsson in the white helmet in starting position 1.
Okay, this is your local rider here, is Shane Bowes. He's, I'm sure a lot of you guys probably know him. He's going to be pulled in from the reserve spot.
And Shane Bowes is the holder of the 4-lap record here, so we'll be hoping for real good.
One of the fastest riders around here.
It's on the outside. It's 5 and 6, but on the outside, Shane Bowes is trying to get around them. He's locked back in 4th place, however. But it's the white helmeted Henrik Gustafsson who's in front. Gustafsson leading Stenlund with Bowes riding and the blue helmeted Stephen Davies back in 4th. Well, the Swedes are certainly taking it home to the Australians, and this time running first and second, and Henrik Gustafsson has got what looks like an unbeatable lead at this stage. Gustafsson leading Stenlund. Bowes in third, and Davies back in fourth. The further the race goes, the further the white-helmeted Henrik Gustafsson leads. He's got an enormous lead as he's coming around to take the flag with 1 lap to go. But tries the Australians, Sweden 5 and 6 riders. Henrik Gustafsson continues to lead. Last time down the back straight, showing off a bit there with a bit of a mono wheel. Erik Sundlund will come in second. So it's Henrik Gustafsson, Sweden 5, first over the line. Sweden 6 in Erik Sundlund in for second. Third goes to Shane Bowes, Australia 5, followed over the line by Australia 6, Stephen Davies. Well, the Swedes certainly had the Australians measure there, Sam.
Well, there you go. You got to hand it to the Swede. He was out in front, showing off a bit last lap, and showed what he knew and entertaining the crowd great. The time of that one was 1:01.02.
Thanks, Sam. Well, great riding, you've got to admit. Glenn Doyle, come on, guys. Let's see what you can do. On the line, just about ready to go. By the blue helmeted Glenn Doyle, and Doyle around the back, and Doyle's leading from Crump. Crump and Doyle riding teams racing. Doyle out in front and Crump riding shotgun down on the pole line. Doyle up high. Doyle gets it crossed up, just manages to avoid something. Back to third place. It's up to Phil Crump now to beat the Swedish champion Per Jonson. Crumpy out of the lead, Per Jonson running second, and Glenn Doyle back in third place, followed by Connie Iverson. Phil Crump continues to lead. Let's hear it. Per Jonson trying to get up there with Crumpy, and just as quickly Glenn Doyle. Oh, and Crumpy's had a problem. Oh, what a rotten luck. And that puts Per Jonson in the lead, and it leaves Glenn Doyle out to try and catch him with 1 lap to go. Crumpy's got it all together. But he is running a very sad last at this stage, and he's looking down. He's got some problems with his bike. Per Jonson leading last time down the back straight from Glenn Doyle, with Connie Iverson running third. Per Jonson comes in to take out the flag, and the blue-helmeted Glenn Doyle second, with Connie Iverson third over the line. And cars out there. We've got 49 Jim Irwin and Gary Robinson in red from 1, 39 Marty Herkmans and Bob Slater in blue from 2, 29 Peter Fleet and Greg Black in white from 3, and 100 Rob Doyle and Paul King in yellow from 4. Well, of late, Peter Fleet and Greg Black have not been having the best of luck as far as reliability is concerned. They'll be wanting to get their bike into reliable shape, especially with the South Australian Sidecar Championships coming up here at North Arm Speedway, not tomorrow night, but the night after on Friday night. So a bit of a showdown for these guys. They'll all have something to prove with these state titles coming up. Jim Irwin on the inside, Marty Herkmans in the red leathers from 2, Peter Fleet, Greg Black, the distinctive yellow leathers from 3, and Rob Doyle, Paul King on the outside. They're racing, and Jim Irwin, Gary Robertson get away to a marvellous start on the inside. Marty Herkmans following him through there, and Peter Fleet caught in behind them with nowhere to go. Big Jim Irwin leads first time through turn 3 and around through turn 4. The blue-helmeted Marty Herkmans and Bob Slater go wide, and Peter Fleet, Greg Black, squats through the inside up into second place and set out after Jimmy Irwin. Jimmy Irwin's doing it nicely, and now Marty Herkmans is coming under pressure from Rob Doyle, but manages to hold on to that third place. In the meantime, Big Jim Irwin is going wide, and this gives Peter Fleet a chance to get through, and he does. Peter Fleet goes through the inside of Jim Irwin to take over the running. Irwin comes back at him again. Marty Herkmans makes a mess of that corner. He's back in third place. But Peter Fleet, Fleet by name and Fleet by nature, continues to lead as they come around the second last time through turns 3 and 4. Peter Fleet and Greg Black just in front of Jim Irwin and Gary Robinson. So Marty Herkmans must be disappointed back in third place, and Rob Doyle and Paul King back in fourth. The battle is on the last lap now, with Peter Fleet and Greg Black hotly pursued by Jim Irwin. Fleet goes wide, Irwin down on the pole line, but 29 Peter Fleet and Greg Black just in ahead of 39 Jim Irwin and Gary Robinson, and 39 Marty Herkmans and Bob Slater in for third ahead of 100 Rob Doyle and Paul King.
Together, give these guys a big cheer and wind them up. These guys got to pull it back for you. We got boys. Stephen Davies out there going to do it.
And Shane Bowes, of course, is the 4-lap record holder here. We'll need some pretty fast riding from him tonight to try and pull back that Swedish lead.
If anybody can do it, he can definitely do it on this track, one of his home track.
Well, he should be able to, like you say, it's his own track. He knows it inside out. And Shane Bowes in red starting from the outside, number 5 for Australia. And you've got a load on his shoulders in this one. Okay, the riders coming in ready for a start. This is event 6 on the program tonight. Sweden leading 17-7. Australia's got to pull back that lead. Stephen Davies anticipated to start beautifully, but Sweden 3, Jimmy Nielsen goes into the lead. Shane Bowes and Stephen Davies coming through at the inside of Jimmy Nielsen, while Tony Rickardson is left languishing there. And if ever Australia's got a chance to pull back on the Swedes, it's this one. Leads Stephen Davies, riding close by to prevent any chance of Jimmy Nielsen getting through. Shane Bowes out in front, Stephen Davies, and they're starting to put distance between themselves and Jimmy Nielsen. It's looking good for Australia. Shane Bowes on track is just scorching away, and I reckon that Jimmy Nielsen's got problems back there as well by the look of it. But Shane Bowes continues to lead. Jimmy Nielsen has certainly got engine problems. Tony Rickardson is retired, but with 1 lap to go, it's Australia. Shane Bowes leading Stephen Davies, riding in tandem. Bowes out in the lead, and Davies riding shotgun for him. Shane Bowes, 1 corner to go. Stephen Davies right with him. Shane Bowes in for first, Stephen Davies in for second. And a great roar goes up from the crowd. Let's hear it. Tony Rickardson, unfortunately a DNF, did not finish alongside his name, and Jimmy Nielsen just rolls over the line for 3rd place. Well, gee, what a turn-up. What a luck for the Australians there, Sam.
Let them hear it. Let them hear it. These guys want it bad. I tell you what, this next race with Todd Wiltshire and Lee Adams coming out, you guys let those hear it whenever they come back. These guys want it.
Okay, and do we have a time for that event?
Yeah, the time was 1:03.24.
Message for Karen Taylor to the pit office, please. Karen Taylor, would you go to the pit office? And Mr. Bill Ryan, could you go to the pit office and see Les Bauer, please? That's Karen Taylor to the pit office and Bill Ryan to the pit office to see Les Bauer.
Okay, 6 points between it. You guys want to take this home with you, don't you? So you let them hear it when they come out of that starting gate.
Yeah, that's, 12-18 at the moment. That's the way the scores look. Sweden 18, Australia 12, and with Australia 1 and 2 against Sweden 5 and 6, there's every chance of pinning that back by another 5 points, and it could only be 1 point difference after this one.
Well, let Todd Wiltshire know it, number 3 in the world, against Henrik Kristofferson, a world finalist. These guys have been racing at the highest level together, and I'm sure they want to prove that Australia can pull back the 6-point deficit.
And not only that, we've got Australians starting in 1 and 3, the favoured positions in this one. Lee Adams in blue from 1, Todd Wiltshire red from 3, the white-helmeted Henrik Gustafsson from 2, and Eric Stundland on the outside in the yellow and black helmet from 4. This is
they're lining up. Lee Adams, I'm sure, is looking over his shoulder. Todd Wiltshire, that I can see, they want to do it.
Okay, bringing them into the line. There'll probably be just a bit more shuffling as they're ready to go. No, they're looking good at this stage. Australia 1, Todd Wiltshire gets the front wheel up and loses a lot of traction. But in the meantime, it's Australia 2. Lee Adams is out in front. Adams is leading with Gustafsson running in 2nd place and Studland in 3rd. Oh, there's a rider down there, and I reckon that was Studland. It was indeed. Eric Studland is the one who fell there. Let's hope he can get his bike off the track in time. He'll be able to get it off there. The blue-helmeted Lee Adams continues to lead, and the white-helmeted Henrik Gustafsson running 2nd. Adams from Wiltshire. Lee Adams, the young fella from Mildura, has got his grip on this one. He's got 1.5 laps to go, and continues to increase his lead as they go down the back straight. 1.25 laps coming around to get the 1-lap flag. Lee Adams, blue helmet lead from the white-helmeted Henrik Gustafsson, but right behind Gustafsson is Australia 1, Todd Wiltshire. Wiltshire, really getting the power on. Unfortunately, gets the bike up on the front wheel up again. But Lee Adams comes in to take it out. Henrik Gustafsson over the line for 2nd, and a close-up 3rd, Australia 1, Todd Wiltshire. So there's Lee Adams 1st, Henrik Gustafsson 2nd, and Todd Wiltshire 3rd.
Well, what can you say? 4 points between them now. Let them hear it. These guys are going to go back in that pits and rub it off to the other Australians, see if they can pull this back. Good job on Henrik Kristofferson in the first turn. These guys are professionals. To miss that guy when he slid up, Eric falling down in that turn 3. The time of that race was 101.52. 101.52. So the scores now is Sweden's got 20 points, Australia's got 16.
from 2. Yes, Davies is coming around to start from 4, and Shane Bowes will move into the number 2 starting position.
Shane Bowes, this guy knows this track. I'm sure he's going to be out there. He won the last race he was in. Him and Stephen Davis definitely got a chance to pull this 4-point deficit back to hopefully a 1-point lead to give the Australians a lead.
Okay, all riders up to the line. Event 8. By all concerned, but it's Streeting one Per Jonson who leads into the first time, but it's Australia running second and third with the blue helmeted Stephen Davies in second. It was Australia 1 and 3, but instead it's Connie Iverson now who's moved up into second place, and he was in second place. But it's the blue helmeted Stephen Davies who's now back in second again, and Shane Bowes trying to come up, having a great battle at the back there with Connie Iverson. Iverson gets the better of Bowes. Bowes gets crossed up even though he's down on the pole line. Streeting one, Per Jonson, who's leading the South Australian Shane Bowes in second place. In third place, Connie Iverson, and back to fourth, it's Shane Bowes. Shane Bowes. Stephen Davies, in fact, is running second. So we've still got Streeting one, Per Jonson in the lead. We've got Stephen Davies running second. Connie Iverson holding down third place, and Shane Bowes fourth, and that's the way they'll finish. With Streeting one, Per Jonson first over the line. Second was Australia 6, Stephen Davies, with third place going to the other Swede, Connie Iverson, and Shane Bowes in for fourth.
That's the world champion that won that race. Give him a hand as he goes around.
Just repeating those placings, Sweden 1, Per Jonson first, Australia 6, Stephen Davies second, and Sweden 2, Connie Iverson in third place, and the time for that event was
102.12, 102.12. Let them know it, cheer them up, we can hear you.
They've certainly got a big responsibility on their shoulders in this one, with Australia 6 points down, 18 to 24. Todd Wiltshire starting from 1. Jimmy Nielsen from 2. That'll put Peter Nayland in 4. And Lee Adams in 3. The Australians have got the advantage of the starting positions of 1 and 3. Everything will hinge on that all-important start. If Wiltshire and Adams can get away smartly, I don't think that Nielsen and Nayland will be trying to get away just as quickly. Okay, the starting steward's calling them in. Adams taking a ride up the track there, had his head up, obviously taking a breath of fresh air, trying to psych himself up. Coming in now. Wilson and Nayland move in on the line. Wiltshire gets that wheel up in the air again, and that gives Jimmy Nielsen a chance to go into the lead. But it's the blue helmeted Lee Adams who leads first time down the back straight. Wiltshire now moved back up into second. We've had one of the Swedes fail. That's Peter Nayland, and Jimmy Nielsen is the sole Swede in this one. Lee Adams continues to lead. Todd Wiltshire is holding down second place, and he's holding out Jimmy Nielsen. Australians have a chance for first and second here. Lee Adams continues to lead. The guy is just scorching. The young fella is riding right up in the middle of the track. Todd Wiltshire is holding back Jimmy Nielsen. Wiltshire, his job now is to ride shotgun. His job is to hold Nielsen out, and he's doing a marvellous job of it. He's letting Lee Adams get away with it. But Nielsen has got a problem down there. He'll be lucky to finish, and it could be 5 points to South Australia. And Australia are right in it there. And boy, do you reckon that Lee Adams is having a time of his life. Lee Adams in for first, Todd Wiltshire in for second, and no points to the Swedes.
Ladies and gentlemen, Australia 1 and 2, let them hear it. That was 5 crucial points. Now listen to this. Unfortunately, Jimmy Nielsen engine failed, and he's got 3 minutes to get his bike across that finish line to get the 1 point. Jimmy Nielsen is running around the track with his bike right at this moment to get maybe that crucial point at the end of this match. Cheer him on. The time of that race was 1:01.12. With this hot weather, Jimmy Nielsen is going to need a lot of cooling down when he gets in that pit. But look at the courage of this guy getting that vital point. Cheer him on as he's coming in, running that bike through.
He might be the opposition, but give him the applause he deserves. Jimmy Nielsen will come around. He will take the 1 point for Sweden in this one. He's only got a few meters to go to get to the line. The stewards are exerting him on. He gets the checkered flag, and Jimmy Nielsen, Sweden 3, takes the checkered flag to get that 1 point for Sweden. Let me have a look. It would have to be Sweden 25, and it would have to be Australia. No, that was before that. What are we up to?
Sweden's got 25, Australia's got 23.
Oh, only 2 points the difference. Boy, after this sidecar race and after this track grade, it's going to certainly be on. Can Australia really overhaul Sweden? Can Australia come from behind? Okay, the answers after this sidecar race and after the track grade. Let's have a look at the starters for event 10. We've got 18, Steve and Tony Hall in red from 1. 62, Mal Greig and Steve Brown in blue from 2. 41, Ron Rody and Bill Saunders in white from 3. 54, Wally Wiles and Mike Tucker in yellow from 4. And I'm told we're going to have a 5-bike start. There's only 4. That's Ron Rody and Bill Saunders doing a hot lap to check the bike out. Okay, Steve and Tony Hall on the pole line. Mal Greig, Steve Brown, Ron Rody and Bill Saunders, and Wally Wiles, Mike Tucker. And on the outside, Wally Wiles and Mike Tucker. Oh, it's... yes, they'd have to pull that one up. Yeah, they'd have to pull it up. Steve and Tony Hall got shunted infield with Mal Greig and Ron Rody all trying to get into turn 1 first. And the first of 2 bikes forced 1 bike out, and it was Steve and Tony Hall. They weren't going to give way on that pole line for anybody. And as a result, they just got shunted out there. And the steward obviously had no alternative but to hit the red light and call them back in for a restart. Well... and obviously considered a racing incident. All riders back in on this one. But, gee, Mal Greig and Ron Rody, starting from positions 2 and 3, they weren't going to give up, and neither was Steve Hall. And it was a case almost of an irresistible force meeting an immovable object. But the immovable object in this case was Steve and Tony Hall, and unfortunately they did move, only under pressure from the others. Okay, coming in for the restart on event 10 on your program. Ready to go again. And Ronnie Wiles and Mike Tucker get away to a magnificent start for position 4, going to the lead from Steve and Tony Hall running second. And that would have to be Wally Wiles and Mike, Ron Rody, Bill Saunders back in 4th place. But it's Wally Wiles and Mike Tucker who are in the lead. Steve and Tony Hall running second. There's Mal Greig and Steve Brown in 3rd. And looking for a run around the outside was Mal Greig and Steve Brown. Steve and Tony Hall still in the lead there. Ron Rody and Bill Saunders back in 4th place. But still 18, Steve and Tony Hall now in the lead, with 62, Mal Greig and Steve Brown running second. Steve and Tony Hall with just on 1 lap to go, holding it down. Mal Greig and Steve Brown running in 2nd place. Wally Wiles and Mike Tucker in 3rd. And Mark Wood and Lisa Hapke up into 4th place ahead of Ron Rody and Bill Saunders now. But Steve and Tony Hall got this one fairly in their grasp as they come around to take the checkered flag. 18, Steve and Tony Hall first over the line. 52, Mal Greig and Steve Brown in for 2nd. And 54, Wally Wiles and Mike Tucker after a good start came in 3rd ahead of 30, Mark Wood and Lisa Hapke. And 41, Ron Rody and Bill Saunders in a disappointing 5th place. And Sweden 6, Eric Stunland in yellow. And I just got a message up from the pits, Sam, that Per Jonson changed the engine in his bike in just 19 minutes.
Yeah, like I said, these guys know what they're doing back there. And now they're back here on the track, and you guys want to get back to racing, let them know.
Okay, let's hear it for Phil Crump and Glenn Doyle. Australian 3 and 4 against Sweden 5 and 6. Henrik Gustafsson and Erik Stenlund. Sweden leading 25 to 23. Australia has got a chance to not only pull this one back, they've got a chance to get into the lead. Glenn Doyle, the Western Australian champ, comes in to take up his starting position number 2. Crumpy on the outside in red. Crumpy has really got the job ahead of him from out there. We've got Erik Stenlund starting from 1 and Henrik Gustafsson in the white helmet from 3. Okay, folks, let's go racing again. The start on the outside, cuts across, but it's the blue-helmeted Glenn Doyle who goes into the lead, and Crumpy's in trouble at the back. Glenn Doyle was in the lead, but one of the Swedes, it's Henrik Stenlund who's in the lead. Stenlund comes into the lead, and Doyle is forced out by the Henrik Gustafsson, and Doyle back to 3rd. And Crumpy, unfortunately, has had a failure. Boy, things not going Australia's way tonight. Well, not going Sweden's way either with some of the engine failures that they had. But Stenlund leads now from Gustafsson with Doyle in 3rd. Stenlund leading Gustafsson. Doyle back in 3rd. 1 1/4 laps to go, and the way they're strung out at the moment, it looks like that's the way they're finishing. Stenlund with 1 lap to go continues to lead with Henrik Gustafsson in 2nd and Glenn Doyle in 3rd. Bad luck for Crumpy. Got away to a beautiful start. Maybe through a chain, who knows, I don't know. We'll maybe find out later. But the checkered flag goes to Erik Stenlund first over the line. Henrik Gustafsson 2nd and Glenn Doyle 3rd.
Unlucky for the Australians. You can see him in the first turn, got bumped out a little bit. Let the Swedish guys, let them know how you feel about that. Henrik Gustafsson doing a little wheelie. But that's going to be crucial lost points for the Australians. They were getting so close to getting right back up there. But this is going to make the whole night interesting, so cheer them on. The time on that race was 1:01.56.
And your starters for event 12, Australia 1, Todd Wiltshire, and Australia 2, Lee Adams, against Sweden 1, Per Jonson, and Sweden 2, Connie Iverson. Well, Australia 1 and 2, again.
Lee Adams, they're the ones, they're the strongest on your side. Let them hear it. Here they go.
And there's young Lee Adams in the blue helmet, already up into this number 1 starting position. I don't know whether he's just coming up to the line or... no, that looks like where he's going to start from. So if it's Australia 1 and 3, well, we've got a pretty good chance. Australia 1, Todd Wiltshire in the red helmet cover just coming out. Already on the line up here in position 4, Connie Iverson, waiting for Per Jonson to come out. Per Jonson is out, is he? Oh, yes, here he comes. He went right away around the track to maybe just get a few revs into that replacement engine. Another clutch start back there with Lee Adams. Okay, a race which is absolutely crucial for Australia to try and pull back this 6-point gap that the Swedes have over them at the moment. It was only 2 points, and then Phil Crump unfortunately had a failure in that previous event, and Glenn Doyle could do no better than 3rd. So now it's up to Todd Wiltshire and Lee Adams. Australia 1 and Australia 2 on their numbers. Okay, they're on the line. And a good even start, but on the inside, the blue helmet of Lee Adams goes into the lead. Todd Wiltshire's back in 4th place. It's Per Jonson who's running in 2nd with Connie Iverson in 3rd. Iverson and Jonson. Jonson, yes, on the inside. Iverson on the outside. And Todd Wiltshire doing his best to try and split them. In the meantime, Lee Adams is holding it together for Australia, and the further they go, the further he's going out in front. The Swedes riding shotgun, trying to keep Todd Wiltshire out, and they're doing a darn good job of it too. Johnson in second place and riding right alongside of him, Connie Iverson. And poor old Todd Wiltshire's got absolutely nowhere to go. He's not going to be able to split this pair at all. But the saving grace for Australia, should I say, is that Lee Adams is in front. Adams has got an unbeatable lead. The young fellow is just scorching away from the Swedes. Jonson on the inside, Iverson on the outside, and poor old Todd Wiltshire back in fourth place. But Lee Adams comes over the line to take it out for Australia, with Per Jonson in for second, Connie Iverson third, and Todd Wiltshire in for fourth.
There you go, Lee Adams, the lead he pulled away from the world champion. Does Lee Adams have the style to be a world champion? The years will come. Root him on as he's pulling it around to the pits. Lee Adams.
And deserved applause for young Lee Adams, the young lad from Mildura. Okay, let's see if we can get a time on that previous event, and then we'll give you the starters for event 13.
Can they do it?
Okay, let's watch Phil Crump and Glenn Doyle, particularly on this start. Crumpy had a beautiful start last time from 4. He's only got from position 2 to worry about this time. So let's see if he can get that all-important start. Ready to go. From the outside gets a beautiful start. Glenn Doyle in the lead. Crump gets shunted out. Doyle goes out, and it's the I reckon it's Tony Rickardson in the lead. Tony Rickardson. Oh, Rickardson hacks it down on the corner there. Glenn Doyle a chance to get in. It is Rickardson in the lead. Doyle is running second, and Peter Nayland back in third. Nayland's got Phil Crump behind him, and Crumpy's got the job ahead of him. But Tony Rickardson continues to lead. And one of the Swedes, Peter Nayland, has packed it in. Or is it? Yes, Peter Nayland has packed it in. But in the meantime, it's Tony Rickardson continues to lead, coming up with 1 lap to go. Bringing it down beautifully on the pole line. 3, 4. Tony Rickardson, well, one thing about it, if they finish where they are now, it'll still maintain the 6 points difference, and Australia will not drop back any further behind. Tony Rickardson, Sweden 4, comes around to take the checkered flag. Glenn Doyle, Australia 4, comes in for second, and Phil Crump, a disappointing ride for Phil, back in for third. So it's Tony Rickardson first, Glenn Doyle second, and Phil Crump third, and Peter Nayland with a did not finish.
Well, they're having their share of bad luck at this stage of the game. I don't see what happened. It kind of looked like it just went away, maybe lost a chain or something. But Tony Rickardson wins that one as he goes into the pits. Glenn Doyle had a good start out of the first turn there. It looked like Crumpy had a bit of troubles in the first turn, and it possibly could have came out with 5 points on that one. We're not giving up. The time on that one was 1:20.20.
And the starters for event 14, Australia 5, Shane Bowes in red. You came out, but sorry about those of you who are looking for soft drinks at the canteen down by the pits. They have sold out. Suggest you try one of the other canteens around the ground. Okay, we're maintaining that 6-point advantage, the Swedes are, should I say, and it's up to Shane Bowes and Stephen Davies to take this one right up to the Swedes. We're hoping so anyway. Shane Bowes in red, Stephen Davies in blue. Shane Bowes starting from 3, Stephen Davies from 1. It's the white-helmeted Henrik Gustafsson who's starting from 2, and Eric Stenlund from 4. It's incessant jockeying goes on, moving the bikes back and forth before they come in. Shane Bowes giving the bike a final rev. He moves in, and Eric Stenlund moves into 4. Stenlund gets a good start, cuts through right across in front of Shane Bowes, but it's the Swedes first and second, with the red-helmeted Shane Bowes running third at this stage, and in the blue helmet, Stephen Davies jockeying fourth. Shane Bowes going right around the outside of Henrik Gustafsson. He's trying to go around Henrik Gustafsson, almost had him beat, but Gustafsson is not to be beaten down here and maintains our second position. He takes Shane Bowes out high, while Eric Stenlund continues. Henrik Gustafsson running second, and Shane Bowes riding his heart out trying to get up there with Gustafsson, but without any effect. The Swedes look like they're going to go further ahead here. This is big trouble for Australia with Finland leading from Henrik Gustafsson. Shane Bowes running third, and Stephen Davies back in fourth. Bowes now trying to his utmost to get up there with Gustafsson, and Bowes going around the outside of Gustafsson, running for the lead, and no, Gustafsson is in for second, Shane Bowes third, and Eric Stenlund in for fourth, with, first with Stephen Davies in fourth.
Woo! What a race! Give him a hand. Bowes showing you guys what he knows, a local favorite. Showing a world-class rider, Henrik Gustafsson, how to get around his home track. Great ride for Eric Stenlund to win that race, mounted on a Jara, going good. Woo! You guys like it? Yeah!
Okay, just repeating those placings. Sweden 6, Eric Stenlund first. Sweden 5, Henrik Gustafsson second. And Australia 5, Shane Bowes third.
The time on that race was 1:01.76. 1:01.76. What a race, boy.
Certainly was. Okay, we can relax for just a moment as far as the solos are concerned, but not the sidecars, because we've got them coming out now. 100, Rob Doyle and Paul King in red from 1. Peter Fleet and Greg Black in blue from 2. 39, Marty Herkmans, Bob Slater white from 3. And Jim Irwin, Big Jim Irwin and Gary Robinson in yellow from 4.
In that last race, the score now is 40 Sweden, 31 Australia's, but I think that Australia rode a lot harder. They deserved more points than that one, but that's the way she finished up.
Okay, riders coming into line now. Big Jim Irwin, number 49 on the outside. They've been going exceptionally well tonight. Marty Herkmans moves into the position 3. Rob Doyle moves into 1. And Peter Fleet and Greg Black in the yellow leathers, and the rider with the blue helmet cover moving up into 2. Fleety also going exceptionally well. Hasn't had the best of runs with unreliability of late. And away they go. A beautiful even start. No winner on the start there, but Peter Fleet manages to get the nose in front as they go down the back straight, but the red light goes on. And I'm not really surprised at that. There was a certain amount of jockeying through turn 1 there, and obviously the steward considered that one rider or another was disadvantaged, and I think the word is all back in. And yes, all back in the restart. Well, they're certainly keen, these guys, and well, they might be, because they're just 2 nights away from the South Australian Sidecar Championship right here at North Arm Speedway. Don't forget, Friday night, 8 o'clock is when the barrier goes up and the green flag goes down. The South Australian Sidecar Championship here Friday night at North Arm Speedway, and this is just a taste of what you're going to get in the state sidecar title Friday night. Okay, ready to go again in the restart for event 15. Another beautiful start, and Jim Irwin gets the break sideways at the start, loses to Marty Herkmans, trying to go around the outside of Rob Doyle. Rob Doyle, and a tangle over there. 1 passenger down, 2 down. Marty Herkmans' passenger, Bob Slater, is down, and so did Gary Robinson come down off Jim Irwin's bike, and they're looking at Gary Robinson now. The St. John are there with him. Gary Robinson's up on his knees. He's up on his feet. A big cheer for Gary Robinson, folks. And another one for Bob Slater. Bob Slater looks as if he's okay too. Well, they certainly turned it on for us. Unfortunately, we've all got our hearts in our mouths when things like that happen, but boy, they were certainly trying. They certainly tried it through turn 1 at the original start. Okay, riders coming up to the line for a third attempt to get event 15 underway. And this time, as I said, it's Steve and Tony Hall on the outside, taking the place of Jim Irwin and Gary Robinson. Ready to go. Marty Herkmans gets a good start, but not as good as Rob Doyle. He leads with Herkmans caught wide, and Steve and Tony Hall tried to barge in between them and Peter Fleet. But it's Fleety that comes out the better out of this lot. with the red helmeted Rob Doyle. Unaccustomed as he is, he's in the lead, and there's a battle on the second place between Peter Fleet and Marty Herkmans, with Stephen Tony Hall back at the rear. But Rob Doyle making every post a winner in this one, and he's certainly holding off Peter Fleet. Marty Herkmans back in third. Fleet getting closer to Doyle now. Doyle pulling it down on the pole line as well. He'll have to hold back Peter Fleet. Fleet getting closer, looking for that run through. Gets the nose up alongside Rob Doyle's back wheel, but Doyle scorches away again and really gets some power on down the back straight. Rob Doyle showing he's no slouch, but he's going wide. He's left the gate open, and Peter Fleet got a chance to get up there, but no, not close enough to take it. 1 lap to go. Rob Doyle continues to lead. Peter Fleet sticking his nose in there again. Fleet up with Doyle. Fleet, they tangle. They tangle. And Fleet comes out of the banner. Have you ever seen anything like it? Coming up the line, Peter Fleet going back in for first. Marty Herkmans just in for second. And Rob Doyle third, with Stephen Tony Hall in for fourth. Well, that is incredible racing. It really was, as they tangled on the back straight with 1 lap to go there. But Peter Fleet and Greg Black, who I thought were gone for all money, managed to untangle themselves there from Rob Doyle and come over the line first, with 39 Marty Herkmans in for second, and 100 Rob Doyle and Paul King, who rode a magnificent race for 3.5 laps, coming in there for third place. And the time for the event, 1 minute 11.06 seconds. 1:11.06. And Fleet 29 first, Herkmans 39 second, and Doyle 100 third.
Are you guys ready? Here they go. They know how important it is for them to get this 5 points.
Okay, all riders in for the men's 16, 13 is the test match. And away they go again. Clumpy, a beautiful start on the outside, and number 4, Doyle, is down. He got caught there. And now Clumpy's up there with Per Jonson. Jonson leading from Doyle and Iverson. And Doyle is okay, he's off the track, but he's not too happy about being shunted out there. At least that's what it seems as if he reckons happened to him. He got caught there with riders going every which way. But back to the racing. Per Jonson out in front in the white helmet. And Phil Crump holding in there in second for Australia, with Connie Iverson riding third at the moment. Per Jonson got a good grip on this race. Crumpy doing his best to hold out Iverson. Crumpy's down on the pole line. Iverson caught wide. And with 1 lap to go, it looks definite that Per Jonson will take this one out. Crumpy is managing to hold off Iverson. Crumpy holding down second place, Iverson in third. But Per Jonson comes around to take the checkered flag. Crumpy right down on the pole line in for second. And Iverson over the line for third, with Glenn Doyle, and it did not finish. Well, Sam, how did you see the Glenn Doyle incident?
Well, he was a victim of definitely possibly a prepared track that had a little bit of water on the inside as soon as he went to flick it. It was a hard start, and Per Jonson got the best of it and went across the finish line on a wheelie.
Against Nayland and Rickardson. Gee, is this a bold move by the Australians, or a desperation move, or what, Sam? Sam is busy at the moment with the officials. I say, is that a desperation move or a smart move by the Australians?
Well, he's a local around this track. I think it's probably a move that they must try when they're that far behind, and maybe one of the boys or something's not going so good. You got to try your reserves, because they might be the key to winning this thing.
Well, we hope so anyway, with Shane Bowes down there in the red from 1, which means that Scott Norman will start in blue from 3. Tony Rickardson starting in position 2, which means Peter Nayland will be outside in the white helmet in position 4.
Well, I can hear the crowd boosting up Scotty Norman. They want to hear this guy do something out there. So everybody cheer on your favorites.
Well, this is a chance for Scotty Norman to prove himself against Sweeten's best. Scotty Norman taking every care with his selection of his exactly where he's going to put the tyres of the bike for the start. Backing off, coming in again, checking everything over. The steward signals him in and says, "Okay, sunshine, Get up to the line and stay there. Beautiful even start, and number 7 for South Australia, Scotty Norman. And into the lead is Shane Bowes. Shane Bowes and Scotty Norman, first and second. And great riding in second place there with number 7 for Australia, Scotty Norman, caught wide, and he succumbs to the pressure of the Swedes. But it's Shane Bowes who's out in front with the Swedes, Peter Nolan and Tony Rickardson running second and third. Continues to lead, and on the outside it's swinging for Tony Rickardson from Peter Nolan. Down the back straight once more. Shane Bowes continues to lead with 1 lap to go. And Tony Rickardson running second, and Peter Nolan third. Scotty Norman back in 4th place, rode well for the first lap or so, but then found the pressure just too great. Shane Bowes will come out and take the checkered flag from Sweden 4 in Tony Rickardson second, Peter Nolan third over the line, and Scott Norman 4th.
Did you like that effort? Let them know. Shane Bowes takes it from start to finish. Scott Norman did a great job, I thought. A victim of possibly not having any races under his belt tonight. I'm sure if he's in any more races, he's going to show you that he can hold on to that spot in the next one. Let him hear it. The time on that one was 1 minute .97. 1 minute 97.
Okay, event 18, heat 15 on your program, and this time it's Australia 1 and 2 against Sweden 5 and 6. And if ever we've got a chance to pull back on some points, this is going to be it. Australia 1, Todd Wiltshire in red. Australia 2, Lee Adams in blue. Sweden 5, Henrik Gustafsson in white. And Sweden 6, Erik Stenlund in yellow. Sam, have you got an update on the point scores?
Okay, Sweden now is 48 points against Australians 36. And the next race with the Australians, Todd Wiltshire and Lee Adams in this race, they've been having probably the most success, at least Lee Adams has this night.
Yes, certainly the youngster from Mildura has been riding exceptionally well.
You're going into this race with Lee Adams, the last 2 races, heat wins, and as well as Erik Stenlund. So this is going to be the battle. This is the race. This race right here will probably be the hardest ridden race on such a fresh track at the moment after the grade. This should be good. Who do you think is going to take it? Australia or Sweden? I should have turned it around backwards. Sweden or Australia?
Okay, the riders move in. They're all ready for a start. All eyes on the red and the blue helmets of Todd Wiltshire and Lee Adams. Lee Adams gets a good start. Todd Wiltshire, Lee Adams comes across. Todd Wiltshire's in the lead. Lee Adams settles out in second place. And it's Australia 1 and 2. This is what we need to pull the scores back on this Reeds. Todd Wiltshire out in front. Lee Adams running second. He's running shotgun for Todd Wiltshire. Erik Stenlund, and in 4th place, Henrik Gustafsson. Todd Wiltshire continues to lead, and Lee Adams is right with him there. They're running side by side. Todd Wiltshire a little wide on the track. Lee Adams comes through the inside, and if they catch them, are not going to get past them. Todd Wiltshire on the outside, Lee Adams on the inside. They're not racing each other, they're racing the Swedes. It doesn't matter to them who's going to get the checkered flag, as long as they both stay out in front. Lee Adams on the inside, Todd Wiltshire on a full slide with the wheel up in the air. Running third, it's Erik Stenlund and Henrik Gustafsson back in the rear. But here comes the Swede. Now can they catch them? The last corner, no! And Todd Wiltshire first over the line, Lee Adams second, and Erik Stenlund third. How do you reckon about that? Pulling back 5 points, it's only 7 points the difference now.
Talk to them, let them know what they've done is good. Keep it up. Well, there you go, came out of the first turn, 1-2. You could throw a blanket on them the whole way around. What a race. Lee Adams, Todd Wiltshire.
What beautiful teams racing.
The time on that race was 101.27. 101.27.
Ready to go. On the outside by Connie Iverson, and the Swedes go into the lead. Jonson and Iverson with Bowes and Norman, or should I say Norman and Bowes running third and fourth. But they've still got the Swedes in their sights. Now these Swedes, Jonson and Iverson. Jonson on the inside, Iverson on the outside. And young Norman up there in third place, trying to get up with them. Bowes back in fourth, dropping back a little bit. But the Swedes, they're 1 and 2 riders. Jonson on the inside, Iverson on the outside, are just proving too good at this stage. Scotty Norman's hanging in there. He's got a lot to prove. Shane Bowes is going to have a DNF. It did not finish. His bike's packed up on him. What bad luck. But Scotty Norman is in there, and he will get 1 point for Australia. Coming around with 1 lap to go with Jonson. Still on the inside. Oh, Bowes doing his best to split them. Watch this lad, Bowes down the back straight. Last time through turn 4, he came through and he tried to split these Swedes. A brave move by the reserve of Australia, but Jonson will take it out. Oh, dead heat, Jonson and Iverson. And Bowes in for 3, but 1 lap from home, coming off turn 4. Bowes tried to get up between these guys, and it was the bravest move you've ever seen from the youngster.
You got to appreciate Per Jonson and Connie out there when their team riding tactics were just brilliant. It was really beautiful to see. And give them a round of applause if they go back into the pitch. Per Jonson and Connie. Scott Norman pulling up the back there, definitely a hard trier. There you go, we can hear you guys cheering him on. Yeah, he knows it. He's going to have another chance, I'm sure. The time on that one was 102.19, 102.19.
Is Australia up to it? The way it's been going tonight, I don't think so. Or am I giving up too early?
Well, I'm going to take a total count in a second here, and I'll let you know.
Okay, thanks, Sam. Okay, riders out on the track for event 20, the sidecars, and don't forget the South Australian Sidecar Championship 2 nights from tonight. Friday night here at North Arm Speedway, the South Australian Sidecar Championship. You've seen how keen the guys are tonight. They'll be twice as keen on 2 nights from tonight. And what you see tonight ain't nothing to what you're going to see, as they say in the classics, on Friday night. Not good English, but it certainly expresses the way that these riders will be going. Okay, on the line and just about ready to go. On the outside get away pretty well, but Wally Wiles on the inside is leading pretty well through the first corner from Ron Rodey and Bill Saunders, and but on the inside I think it's 62 Mal Greig and Steve Brown are getting up there in the second place, going underneath the Wally Wiles Mike Tucker combination, and there's 62 Mal Greig into second place. Oh, Steve and Tony Hall right up behind Wally Wiles and push Wally Wiles out, and the Hall brothers moved up in the second place with Wally Wiles running third, and Ron Rodey back in fourth place. Well, Steve and Tony Hall right up there with Mal Greig and Steve Brown. Mal Greig leading, the Hall brothers running second, and Wally Wiles having a battle at the rear of the field there with Ron Rodey. Out in front, Mal Greig and Steve Brown, but they've got the Hall brothers right behind them. Hall brothers made a good start, but in the back, and 54 Wally Wiles seemed to pull down in on Ron Rodey, and they're having a great battle at the rear of the field. Meanwhile, out in front, it's Mal Greig and Steve Brown are going to come to a very easy win. 62 Mal Greig and Steve Brown first over the line. 18 Steve and Tony Hall in for second, and 54 Wally Wiles and Mike Tucker just get there ahead of Ron Rodey and Bill Saunders. So repeating those spacings, 62 Mal Greig and Steve Brown first, 18 Steve and Tony Hall second, and 54 Wally Wiles and Mike Tucker for third. For Jimmy Nilsson, Sweden 7. We've got Lee Adams in blue, obviously going to start from 2, so that'll put Todd Wiltshire no doubt in 4. The white-helmeted Peter Nayland starting from 3, and that'll obviously put Tony Rickardson in 4. Beg your pardon, in 1.
Okay, this is the last time you'll see Lee Adams and Todd Wiltshire on this track tonight riding for Australia. So you guys give them a big cheer. Let's see them. These guys are the strongest ones on your side, the way I see it, and hopefully they can pull out and be a respectable end of the night score.
stewards call the riders in. All of them on the line. Start with Lee Adams looking good through the first corner, but being beaten in there by Tony Rickardson. Rickardson leads with Todd Welch here, settling down into second place with Lee Adams in third on the outside. But Tony Rickardson has got the lead on this one, and Lee Adams is having problems at the back with Peter Nayland. Peter Nayland now in fourth, but going to come back at Lee Adams. Meanwhile, Tony Rickardson has got a firm grip on this race. He leads the second time through turns 3 and 4. Tony Rickardson first. Second on the straight stage, Todd Welch here with Lee Adams having all sorts of problems, trying to hold off Peter Nayland. And he managed to leave Nayland behind second last time down the back straight. Tony Rickardson continues to lead on one wheel coming through turn 4. Todd Welch here and Lee Adams riding third right behind him, and not far behind Adams is Peter Nayland, the reserve for the Swedish team. But coming around to take the checkered flag will be Tony Rickardson. Takes this one out for Sweden from 3 points. Second over the line, Todd Welch here, and third to Lee Adams, with fourth going to Peter Nayland.
Young Tony Rickardson taking it home for Sweden in that race, comes across the finish line one-handed and with the fist grip. He enjoyed that, with Todd Wiltshire and Lee Adams coming in second and third, sharing the points in that one. The time on that was 59.83.
Okay, let's have a look at Heat 18. And we've got
Australia, Phil Crump, the captain. Unfortunate in the last couple races in the first turns. Phil Crump's now on the inside with Glenn Doyle in 3. Let's hope they can pull it out and get in front.
That's right, Crump starting from 1, Doyle from 3, Gustafsson from 2, and Stenlund from 4. Well, the Swedes might have won, but I think Australia has held its head up pretty well in this one.
Okay, they're lining them up. Let them know how you feel about them. These guys are giving it their all out there tonight. I know Phil Crump, Glenn Doyle want to go home feeling respect.
And on the outside, it's Sweden 6, Eric Stenlund. Oh, and squelching through the pack there, it's Glenn Doyle out into the lead. He just went through like a cork coming out of a champagne bottle, and he leads first time through turns 3 and turns 4. Glenn Doyle in the lead. But it's Henrik Gustafsson running second, and Phil Crump up there in third place. Running back in fourth, it'd be Eric Stenlund. Glenn Doyle certainly got the bit between the teeth in this race, and he continues to lead from Henrik Gustafsson, Phil Crump, and Eric Stenlund. Settling down in that order, and that looks like the way they'll finish with 1.5 laps to go. Doyle getting his act together, unfortunately at the wrong time of the night, but he's going wide, and through comes Gustafsson. Doyle, but Doyle shutting the gate on him. Doyle again gets that 2 or 3 lengths lead. Gustafsson comes back at him. Crump riding a lonely race in third, ahead of Eric Stenlund. Doyle comes up to the line, and Glenn Doyle takes it out. Eric Stenlund in, Gustafsson in for second, Crump third, and Stenlund in for fourth.
Let your national champion Glenn Doyle know it. He did it and kept Henrik Gustafsson behind him to take home the last race win of the night for Australia. Glenn Doyle. The time on that one was 1 minute, .81. 1 minute, .81. Glenn Doyle's going around for a lap of honor. Give him a clap as he goes around, your national champion, Glenn Doyle. He appreciates that. Make some noise for him. There you go, the back straightaway. A little bit of noise. What a feeling coming around for turn 4. All right. Front straightaway, good job. Okay, the final scores. We'll get to them in a second.
Okay, the sidecars coming out now for their feature handicap. We've given you the starters and we've given you the handicaps. Incidentally, there's one change to event 24 from what we gave you. Instead of Todd Wiltshire, Glenn Doyle will be riding in yellow. That's Australia 4, Glenn Doyle taking Todd Wiltshire's place in event 24. But right now it's the sidecars out for the feature handicap. On the gate, it's Jim Irwin and Gary Robinson. From 10 metres, Mal Grigg, Steve Brown, and 18, Steve and Tony Hall. And the Sam, you've got the final scores for this is the official final scores now for Sweden and Australia, and they are.
Sweden's got 59, Australia's got 49. So they beat them by 10 points, a bit of unluckiness from both sides of the teams. But you guys got to admit it was some really good racing here tonight.
Certainly was. Thanks for that, Sam. Okay, we've got, it's not 49, it's 41 on the line. Got the wrong message there. Ron Rohde. 41, Ron Rohde and passenger Bill Saunders in black from the gate. Mal Grigg and Steve Brown and Steve and Tony Hall behind them. Then back to Rob Doyle and Paul King. The back markers, Marty Herkmans, Bob Slater, and Peter Fleet, Greg Black. Well, there could be some excitement in this one before this race is over, especially over 6 laps. And this is just a taste of what you're going to get here at North Arm Speedway on Friday night for the South Australian Sidecar Championship. Okay, riders in position and ready to go. Racing, and away they go. Good even start from Brown and Hall brothers, but scorching up on the inside there is, it would have to be Rob Doyle and Paul King, I reckon. But moving back there in the blue helmet, it looks like the Hall brothers. No, it might be Steve Brown, but in the lead is Ron Rohde with Marty Herkmans up into second place, and Peter Fleet moving, trying to get up there into third place. But it is Mal Grigg and Steve Brown who are tailing at the end of the field there. Marty Herkmans continues to lead, though. He's out in front from Ron Rohde. And Peter Fleet just ahead of 18, Steve and Tony Hall. Rob Doyle back in fourth place at this stage. Marty Herkmans has jumped the gun, and he's flying away from this pack. Leading easily is 39 Marty. Just hanging on to second is Ron Rohde with Peter Fleet right behind him, and then further back to the Hall brothers with Peter Fleet now up into second place, and back behind the Hall brothers is missed out who it was there, but Marty Herkmans continues to lead, and Peter Fleet now safely in second with Steve and Tony Hall with Ron Rohde right behind them. Further back to Rob Doyle, and tailing the field is Mal Grigg. Coming around with 1 lap to go. It's a long way, 6 laps. But Marty Herkmans is doing it nicely, thank you very much. And Peter Fleet running in second. The Hall brothers holding on to third. Just behind them is Ron Rohde, and then back to Paul King and Mal Grigg at the tail of the field. The 39, Marty Herkmans comes around to take the race out from 29, Peter Fleet. 18, Stephen Tony Hall, third over the line, followed just by 100. Rob Doyle getting in there just ahead of 41, Ron Rohde, and last over the line after a bit of a failure mid-race was 62, Mal Grigg. Just repeating those placings, 39, Marty Herkmans and Bob Slater first, 29, Peter Fleet and Greg Black second, with 18, Steve and Tony Hall third, and gee, that must put Marty Herkmans.
From number 2, Lee Adams. Gate number 3, Henrik Kristofferson. Your national champion from gate number 4, Glenn Doyle. And Per Jonson, the champion of the world, on gate 5.
Okay, remember this one is over 6 laps. The starting steward's calling them in. They're on the line. Glenn Doyle got caught badly on the line, and the stewards hold it up and bring it back again. I reckon the gate went up. Sam, what do you reckon? I reckon the gate went up just a bit too quick there. The stewards hadn't even completed their walk back behind the bikes when the gate went up.
Well, I think the referee obviously might have made a mistake there, or there was a malfunction in the system, but as to make it fair, he's restaged them, and they're going to go try it again. Well, this is a double time for you guys to see it happen twice. I mean, right now, the one out there, who's going to win it? They've all had a chance to pull out of their start. That one, they might make a different spot on the starting line, might help them the next one, so it should be even more exciting for the round 2 of this one.
Yeah, certainly dragging out the suspense on that one.
Okay, guys, they're ready to line them up. Make some noise. These guys want to take this one. They're all going for it.
On the line and ready to go again. Oh, and the right helmet of Henrik Gustafsson anticipated that start absolutely tremendously, but Eric Stedman, the red-helmeted rider, is in the lead, and Gustafsson, I think, settles down to second place. I can't see the smoke. It's right in my eyes, but yes, it's Glenn Doyle running third, and Lee Adams is back in 4th place there. Or is that Lee Adams? One of them's packed up. I reckon it might be Per Jonson. Not too sure about that. We'll check them as they come around this time once more. In the lead. And running second with him there is the white-helmeted Henrik Gustafsson. Student from Gustafsson. Back in 3rd place, it would have to be Glenn Doyle. Glenn Doyle trying to get up there with the leaders. 4th place, it's Lee Adams. 4 left in this one, and the Australians are battling uphill against the Swedes. Eric Stedman and Henrik Gustafsson running 1st and 2nd. They continue their ride. Glenn Doyle trying to come back underneath Gustafsson, and Doyle gets up into 2nd place, but Gustafsson comes back again. Meanwhile, Lee Adams is trying to get up there again. They're coming around. Glenn Dix has the flag with 1 lap to go. Stedman leads. Gustafsson in 2nd, but not giving up around the outside is Lee Adams. Oh, he's into the fence and he's down. He's on his feet. They're coming around to take the checkered flag. Eric Stedman first over the line. Gustafsson 2nd, and Glenn Doyle in for 3rd. Well, Lee Adams making a very brave run around the outside there, went just a little bit too wide and clipped the fence. And, gee, bad luck for him. He's on his feet. He's being assisted off by the St. John, probably winded more than anything.
We hope that Lee Adams is okay, but come on, what about the racing? Eric Stanley takes that one home with him. Everybody take another lap, Eric. There you go with the checkered flag, and Henrik Gustafsson coming in 2nd. Some good racing. Glenn Doyle coming in from everywhere. There he is, Eric Stanley coming around. Give him a cheer. Come on, you all came to see this race, and he took it home. Took the Jack Young Cup home with him.
Certainly did, a great race. And let's hear it down the back straight for Eric Stanley.
It's a new track record. Eric Stanley has broke the new track record for 6 laps. Is 1 minute 30 seconds, .97. Eric Stanley broke the record, so you can say he was the best rider of the night to break the track record as well as to take the Jack Young Cup home with him. Terry.
Okay, gee, what a terrific amount of racing we've had here tonight. And we're going down trackside just right at this very moment. The promoter of Rowley Park Speedway from all those years ago, Kim Nathan. Good evening, Kim.
Good evening, all the pie eaters, and it's been a great night here, I'm sure you'll agree. Congratulations for them to putting this great night solo racing on, and that last race was worth the price of admission alone. And I think it's a great thing to have these international riders here in Adelaide, and I'm proud to have a small role in the presentation tonight.
Thank you very much, Kim. Now, Kim takes the Jack Young Cup and we'll present it to Eric Stenland. I'll get the right name shortly. Okay, the presentation from Kim Nathan.
Eric, congratulations, Eric. I can tell you the person that this trophy was named for was a really world-class champion and one of the most modest champions I've known, and it's an honour to be able to present this trophy to you, and congratulations for a great race.
Thank you very much. Thanks a lot. Thank you.
How did you enjoy your racing here tonight, Eric?
Yeah, this track suits the Swedes better, I think.
Well, I think so. The scores point to that. You're certainly just too good for the Australians. Well, it's 1-1 now, and you move, back to Brisbane, do you?
Yeah, we're riding there on Saturday.
Well, I'll be polite and say the best of luck to you, but of course we hope the Australians have a bit more luck.
Thank you.
Okay, Eric Stedman, ladies and gentlemen, and thank you very much to Kim Nathan for participating tonight. Ladies and gentlemen, there's something else that's happening here tonight, and I believe that John Fleming, promoter, would you come up here, please? John, a little bird has whispered in my ear that this is probably the last night that you'll be associated with North Arm Speedway.
Yes, Terry, it's a bit of a sad moment for me. I've been here a couple of years now, and we've sort of got it buzzing, and I think tonight was a really good night to go out, and we're moving to Queensland, so we'll see what happens up there.
And what are we going to be involved in up there, John?
I think it'll be Speedway, Terry.
Well, good on you, and thanks for all that you've done in helping out here at North Arm Speedway. We wish you and your good wife every happiness and success up there, and I think there's a presentation coming up here.
Yeah, on behalf of the Speedway Riders Association, we're losing a very valuable member to John, and I'd like to see Angie if she'd come out. I asked her to come out once, but she said no. But Angie, please, on behalf of the Speedway Riders, come out, please, dear.
Okay, I think Angie is on her way. Come on, run, love. Run. Here she comes. Okay, take a position there right alongside John, would you? Don't trip over the cord, love.
Thanks very much for you tonight, the job you've done. To Trevor and his people, I sincerely thank them. And to the crowd that come along, I think that is fantastic for this Speedway down at North Arm. I hope you'll all come back again and have a look at us. Back to John and Angie, who are two very, very valuable members of our club, who are now leaving us and going to Brisbane, where it rains most of the time, they tell me, but he wants the hot weather. But to John and Angie, a very sincere thanks for what you've done down at North Arm. I know others have worked, but you've worked mighty. You and Brian have worked together as a team, and the whole committee, I think, this year has exceeded with only the help of these people that are on committee. So to Angie, I hope you'll accept this, and it has a little writing on it that each time you look, you remember North Arm. To John, my sincere thanks too, John, because without you, mate, I'd be nothing. And to you, all the best in Brisbane. Don't forget, come back and have a look at us. Thanks very much, John.
Thank you, everybody. Bye-bye.
Well, that's the shortest farewell speech I think I've ever heard. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, that does complete the presentations and the racing tonight. With the large crowd here, incidentally, we've just had a check on the crowd. We've had the figures come through. 4,700 of you came here tonight, and I think that's a crowd record for North Arm Speedway, and it'll probably be a while before it's been broken. But we'd like to see heaps and heaps of you back here on Friday night for the South Australian Sidecar Championship. In the meantime, please be careful and take it easy on leaving the grounds. There's a lot of traffic out there, and please be patient as you leave. Please drive carefully on the way home. It's getting late. We wouldn't want you to have any problems on the way home, but we look forward to having your company here again on Friday night for the South Australian Sidecar Championship. On behalf of the whole crew, the management and the riders and officials here at North Arm Speedway, Terry Wilkes wishing you all good night.